Hey guys, well, want to address the dog training comments and requests I've gotten. And instead of doing a whole series on how I've trained Max, I'm going to kind of go over some key points that help me and probably direct you to a couple, hey, sit, direct you to a couple sites. Down. I've had a couple friends that have been into training dogs, and in fact, I'll put them in the shade here. Max, right here. Here. Sit. Down. Make sure you still got light. Yeah, that's fine. Um, Really, honestly, growing up in Oregon, we didn't do training. To sit was more of a trick you did with wide open spaces, and you know, there really wasn't a whole lot of need other than maybe if you had children around to be obedient. The dog we had as a younger kid was a golden retriever, and she was great, but you know, no one around here when I was a kid knew how to tell me how to train them. We took training things at vet schools and veterinary offered ones and whatnot. And sorry for the take a seat. Um, Ones that were offered by vets and people that were around animals a lot. And goofball. But when I got Max, I lived in Seattle. And my attitude was there are too many things around there. When I say come, I want him to come. I don't want him to run into the street. I don't want him to be obnoxious. I want him to be socialized. He's tuckered out for today. I want him to be socialized with other animals. So with that, we went to dog parks a lot. Now, dog parks are a little bit give and take. They're a great place to socialize your animal, but they pick up horrible pack habits of not listening, not coming when you say come. So be very careful if you expose yourself to like a dog park environment. If you say come and he's so excited and he doesn't come, he's going to learn he doesn't have to come. And so that's kind of a dangerous thing. I also took the advice of a friend of mine, and we went on huge walks. When he was a puppy, we went on all sorts of walks around the city. I created barriers on sidewalks so that he wouldn't step off a curb until he was given a release command. And that'll get into probably the easiest one, I believe, is called just dog problems. And I think his name is Adam Katz, but if I don't remember off the top of my head, I will put a link to his websites below. I think he has one called like Dog Problems or something like that. He's got a couple websites. He's gotten a lot bigger since I initially had found him. And his background, he had trained some canine dogs. He'd also, been with aggressive dogs, rehabilitating them and stuff like that to put them into a family lifestyle or just to de-aggressify them, if that's a word. And so his stuff really kind of opened my eye to the theory and how to train your dog. There's really only a couple things you'll take from his course. After that, sky's the limit, really. You'll notice that when I tell him to sit, he sits until I give him the release command. And that theory follows everywhere he goes. When he lays down, he can't get up. I allow him to get to the sit position, but he can't get up and wander around until he's been released. He's such a lovable, crazy guy that he has a hard time when people come up and pet him that he forgets that he was supposed to be sitting down. So that's, a constant struggle. And the other thing is you have to do this all the time. Walking off leash. I got a lot of comments on, I would love to know how you train Max to be off leash. I would love my dog to be off leash. Well, part of that is being the alpha leader. Part of that is him listening to you because you are the alpha leader. He is somewhere below you. When you have multiple dogs or multiple family members, you extend your pack. But everyone in your family needs to be alpha males over alpha leaders over your dog. And maybe he's alpha over the cat. There's a natural progression over there. But you need to be, your wife, your kids, they need to be higher in the ranks than your dog. People say that training your dog and you don't want to do all that kind of stuff because It takes away from their attitude, and that's BS. It frees them to allow to come out here and enjoy the wilderness, like we are today. There's a big old mountain in the background. I don't know if this camera picks it up, but we're just out wandering around. He's not on a leash. Maybe technically he should be by law on a leash, but I'm not worried about him getting in trouble. He will follow me. He will come when I call him. I have put him into situations and trained and tested him to make sure that the outcome is what I want. With that, little things. When you are taking your puppy on walks, train with him at the same time. Train whatever your heel command is going to be. Train him to sit, basically wait for sidewalk changes. He will be dead tired. I could take him on an hour-long walk, and if we didn't train, he'd come back about 5 minutes later. He'd have plenty of energy again. If I went out and took him for a 20-minute walk, come back, and I trained him while I walked, he'd be sacked out. He is mentally and physically exhausted, not just physically, and that's a big thing. So, I don't want to sound like a promotion or anything, but the Adam Katz thing was a very good advice. I also got some advice from a friend of mine who does German Shepherd training, more on like equipment and stuff like that. He actually really wanted to train Max in biting and the full Auschwitz, I forgot what it's called, the German training that he did, that like Adam from Equipped to Endure, he does with Ace. He really wanted to do that because when Max was a puppy, he really had that drive, that fight. You could put Max on his back and he would still, he'd be submissive to the point, but he would never give up. And a lot of that fight and that drive is what they look for in specific dogs like that. Max has just been my partner in crime, out here in the woods, and take him everywhere. As of late, he's about 7 years old. Some of the larger breed in him, I think, is getting a little tired. So you'll see I don't have a pack on him today. We're just using the web harness. I'm carrying some of the gear and stuff. Now that I'm in high desert, I have to carry more water anyway, and I'm not going to weigh him down with that, but he has a bad knee. I have a feeling the other one's going to just get worse if I keep doing them. So I have to choose now, as a responsible owner, what adventures I take him on. He loves it. He hates to be left at the house, but I know what's better for him. Without him being in some sort of off-road dog wheelchair, which if it came to that, I would do it. I don't know. There's a lot of good things, but basically the healing thing is really quick to do. As far as equipment, you'll see that Max a lot of times wears his prong collar. Some call it's the one with the little teeth on him. People look at you funny when you have that. When Max is such a big dog and I have that on them, they assume he's an aggressive dog. Really, I hate when people use choke chains. It's a personal thing of me, because I know that choke chains get down to 0. You can choke down to my pinky if you want to. With these prong collars, when they are properly fitted, there's only about an inch or so of squeezing. It also squeezes all the way around the neck with all the prongs on it, that allow to disperse that pressure all the way around his neck. And literally what it's doing is mimicking the mom. When you see a mama dog going over there and nipping the dog in the back of the neck or on the ear or on the jowl, that's a correction. That's a correction that is saying don't do that. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. If the puppy goes over and does it again, mom gives another correction and the puppy goes, oh, I'm not supposed to do that. Now, the guy with the link down below, I've always remembered it because I think it's a great analogy, but he gives the example of using corrections like a speeding ticket. If you're speeding down the road at 100 miles an hour and a cop pulls you over and he gives you a $10 ticket, you're probably going to speed again. You're like, that's not that bad. I'm going to speed again. If you go 100 miles an hour on the road and the cop pulls you over and he gives you a $3,000 ticket, you're going to be like, whoa. I guess speeding isn't really that important. And that kind of what comes as the corrections. You need to give firm, positive corrections. You don't need to give them more than once. When you tell them to sit, don't say sit, 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 sit. And on the 5th sit, he finally sits. Because he's just going to know in his head, I don't have to sit. until the 5th sit. And that's goes back to the dog park thing. When you have to always be able to give him a correction, especially when it is younger. When I started living by myself in the last 4 years, I have let him get away with a few more things, which is my fault. Simply because it was just him and I. When I lived with other people, I lived with a young girl, a little 3-year-old. He got a lot more obedience, constantly because of that. And living with me, it's a little more lax. It's not that I'm not correcting him for things he's doing wrong, but I don't mind if he's laying on the couch, because it's my couch and it's just him and me. So it's that kind of thing. You just have to constantly keep up on it. But it is a joy to have your buddy out here in the woods. It really is. It makes it so much better than you're by yourself, and you're enjoying the mountains. Let's see if this crappy zoom can zoom in here. It really is. And training them isn't a punishment. It's a freedom. And I believe that it's something you should do as a responsible dog owner. As a responsible dog owner, you should feed him higher end, good dog food. If you want to give your 2-year-old McDonald's every day for the rest of her life, that's your prerogative. But guess what? You're going to have health issues. You're going to have allergy issues. Your kid's going to be obese. You're going to have problems down the road with that. And there's some dog food out there that just is scary. Some of the crap they put in it. And I'm not telling you to go, buy $100, bag dog food, but there's some fairly affordable dog food out there that you can do. I spoke to this years ago when I was first starting my channel, when I was talking about keeping extra dog food for him and for maybe a long-term food source for yourself, merely because a lot of the higher end dog foods have human grade food. It's not chicken meal, it's chicken. It's not, potato extract. It's actually potato and rosemary and a lot of essential oils and stuff. And you are a goofball. And he will thank you. One of the gals I ran into, she was a delight to talk to, and she had started her own food. Unfortunately, I can't get it around here. And I don't know if she's making it anywhere. It was called Gold Seal, I think. And she had made her money with different means. And I believe her husband was rich or something as well. And what she did was as a hobby, she raised Great Danes. Now, any large breed dog really has a lower life expectancy. And what are you doing? Go lay down, buddy. Her goal was through vitamins and diet to extend the life of the larger breeds like the Great Dane. And she was able to get 13, 14 years out of some of these huge dogs that really used to have a 7-8 year life expectancy. Now Max is only at 100 pounds, so he's not really near the large breed status, but he's got large breed in him. And I have to watch out for that. And we'll see as it goes. He's doing pretty good for a funny old man, but I'm trying to train him to be an old dog. But anyway, I'm getting off the subject. Max, come here. Good boy. Really, having a dog that is properly trained, it really gives dogs and dog owners, more rights to express themselves and to be out in the woods and to utilize the same trails. And you get people that don't have dogs that are properly trained or properly socialized, and they're just, it's just like bad gun owners or anything. And, it's sad because pit bulls get a huge bum rap. I love pits. I love large breed dogs. Little dogs are cute, but, I can't wrestle with one. And it's fun having a half bear, half gorilla over here. So I don't know. I'm going to quit my rambling. I'll put the link down below. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to do it. But I really don't think that I'm qualified to put out an instructional video on how to train your dog. There are some better sources out there, and I'll give you the links that have helped me along the way. But once you know the basics, that you're alpha male, he should do what you tell him to do because you are above the chain on him. You are alpha male. And once you get that through your head, And once he understands that, then everything sort of falls into line. The problem is, if you're not going to be alpha male, he's going to be alpha male, and he's not really going to need to know. You know, he's not going to care what you think. Huh? Goofball. Yeah. Good boy. All right, this is Beast signing off, and you guys have a good day.